What is poppin', fam? Spanik here, and in this iteration of the IBL coach interviews for season 5, I am joined by GoldoaDragon, the coach of the New York Empoleon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my introduction into the IBL. This will be my first season in this league, which will be running counterpart to my league that I run, the TBL, which is totally not going to be confusing at all when I'm trying to do it in commentary. And I'm really excited to be here.
All right, we're excited to have you too here in the IBL. So I'm just going to ask a series of questions. It's just kind of a getting to know you type of thing. They're going to be divided into 3 parts. First is going to be like just standard draft league questions. Then we'll get into IBL related ones, and then we'll get into some fun ones later on to end it off.
Sure, sounds perfect.
So to start it off, what was your first ever draft league experience like?
If you want to really count my first ever draft league experience, it was definitely watching Shady Penguin in the GBA Season 1 way back when. And it's funny now to be in the GBA D League playing Danza, who beat him in the championship game. It's just like a funny experience to come full circle like that. But I really wanted to get involved at that point, and it took me a long time to get involved. I didn't actually get involved till Gen 7 when I founded my own league, the TBL. Season 1 of the TBL went 3 weeks and then died. I went on a hiatus for about 6 months, came back, brought it back, went straight to Season 2, didn't want to replay Season 1 again. In those 3 weeks, managed to win a game, get 6-0 in another game, so it was a rocky start, but we got there. And then in Season 2 of the TBL, which was my second season ever and first full season of draft experience, I went all the way to a championship, lost in the finals because my Latias missed a Draco Meteor.
Oh yeah, but you got to start somewhere in the draft league world. Okay, on that note, what was your first ever playoff experience like?
So that Season 2 of the TBL was my first playoff experience. It was a really nerve-wracking experience. The way that season was set up was that you were playing everybody in your division twice, and then you went into playoffs and you played them again. So it was like the third match against these guys. And so we all knew each other's teams really well. Everyone was very familiar with, play styles and things. So coming up with new sets was actually really difficult. Making it all the way to finals and playing a new team again finally was actually like really, it was like a breath of fresh air, and then I got bodied. So that was unfortunate. But I went through the quarters, I went through the semis. It was really good experience as far as just growing as a player, understanding that this is it. This is the one game that if I lose, I'm out and I'm just done and the league is over. Was really nice. Losing the championship made me want to get back to it. Made it TBL Season 3, made it back to the playoffs, but lost in the quarters 1-0. So have not actually won a championship yet, but GBA D League, we're going for it. That's what we're in here for.
Well, you heard it here first. You're going to have your New York Empoleon are going to be GBA D League champions and IBL champions.
Dude, I'll do both. I'll go back to back here. 2018 is my year, I'm telling you. Yeah, no, the Draco Meteor miss was the end of my run. And while it may not have mattered, and the guy who won claims it didn't end up mattering, and he might be right, it really would have been an interesting end of the game. With, he had a Suicune left with only Scald, I had a Water Absorb Jellicent. So who knows what would have happened, in the end of that game, but that miss cost me, and that was the end of that. So got 3-0'd there.
Yeah, that's rough. But you learn from your playoff mistakes and move on.
Absolutely.
All right, now we're going to move on to more IBL related ones.
Sure.
So next one is there anybody in the IBL that you hope to face?
So there's a couple people actually. One being Techno, who just bodied me in the GBA. Would be lovely to face him again. Actually be really excited to face him with his own drafted team as opposed to a team that he didn't actually draft. And then another being Eric, Heavy Metal Pokemon, who actually is the one who got me to apply for the GBA D League, and I've never actually faced him in league format. So it'd be fun to actually get a matchup against him. He's been genning for me all season. I really appreciate what he's done for me, and so it's one of those things where just one of those fun matches I think I'd have a lot of fun with and get to play a good guy.
Okay, so next is what are your goals for this season of IBL?
Continue the way that I've been playing is obviously a good one for me to have. I don't really think that winning a championship is an achievable goal to have per se. Maybe making playoffs is a good one, over 500 record kind of thing. So far, I think my biggest goal is going to be start the season a little bit quicker. In my history with league format, if like the first 3 weeks of a season I'm mediocre at best, I think my record's something like 8-7 all time in the first 3 weeks of a season, and then I come back in like any week 4 and beyond, and I'm like 25-6 or something all time. I've never lost more than 2 games from week 4 to the end of a regular season ever in league format. So I would love to just come out faster, get used to my team more quickly, not throw away a couple games and put myself in a rut at the beginning of the season and have to really climb out of it, which seems to be a trend with me sometimes. So getting a fast start, going up maybe 1-1 or 2-2, 2-0, like pretty early would be helpful to not having to dig myself out of it late season.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to more fun questions.
All right, I'm in.
All right, on the note of who do you really want to face in IBL? Is there anybody in the draft league community as a whole do you want to face?
It's funny because there's a lot of guys I would love to face that it's like suddenly looking more and more possible to face as I do well in the GBAD league. One of the guys I've always wanted to face is Wolf Glick. I've watched him play since he and Ray Rizzo went head to head and toe to toe in VGC for years in the early 2010s, and then now that he's doing draft content, it's like, oh man, that's like it's actually possible to face him. MV and Jolt are obviously good guys to just like get experience playing. And then obviously Shady, who is the person I watched to get into it. Nappy's kind of not doing it anymore, but it would have been nice to face him when he was doing it. I think, is he doing the UCL this season?
Yes, he is. He is doing UCL this season.
Yeah, so he's sort of back into it. So maybe Nappy if that ever arose. So all those guys who, just very, very fun content creators to watch play are the guys that I would love to just see what they say, if I'm playing them and how they react to some of the sets that I bring.
Yeah, we all want to face the big guys.
For sure. But yeah, if I had to pick one person, it'd probably be Wolf Glick.
Yeah, take advantage of the new guy.
I mean, he's got a better pedigree than any of the rest of us, let's be honest. He's made more money playing this game than all of us combined, so.
You're probably right there. Okay, next question. What was the best meme set you ever brought that worked?
Best meme set I ever brought. So when just a couple weeks ago, I brought a Hidden Power Ice Gigalith against Melantosh that was designed as a Zygarde 50% bait that worked perfectly. It only did about 30%, but it was designed to bait it, break a sub, and then force it out again, which is exactly what it did. But I think my best meme set of all time was week 1 of the TBL season 2. I brought a Healing Wish Tailwind eject button Latios, excuse me. And I brought it in on a Sylveon as it went for a Psyshock, took that, got eject buttoned out, was able to switch safely into my counter to Sylveon, which was a Mega Venusaur, and then later was able to get off a Tailwind as he switched in his Mega Latios, Draco Meteor, kill that, and then Healing Wish my Gardevoir to sweep at the end of the game. So everything on that set like worked perfectly, which was super fun. And that was my like first week of the TBL season 2 when I finally got back into it after like a 6-month hiatus, which made it feel even better. It was just like, oh yes, like I know what I'm doing here. Nothing ever works though. I've brought Magicoat a whole bunch of times. It's never worked. I've brought, every time I bring like Final Gambit, it's like I never use it. So my meme sets, like I bring them, just don't click them.
Yeah, sometimes it is. Don't bring them on that you meant to bring the meme set for. Like I just had a semis game where I brought a Magic Coat Mega Alakazam to kind of counter this guy's Smeargle, and he doesn't bring the Smeargle. So
yeah, it's hard to know sometimes with league format, but that's one thing I'm interested in for the IBL itself is that like some teams are only gonna have 8 Pokemon. That makes it a little bit more interesting for team building.
Yeah, I think the range is like 8 to 12 or something like that.
Yeah, so there's like the end of the rounds, like some teams just aren't gonna be drafting anymore. It's just I've never had a league that not everyone has the same number of Pokemon before, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I like this draft style. I really do.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I haven't ever done a league with like teams with different numbers of Pokemon. Obviously the tiering is very different with like the 10 tiers instead of the normal 5. And so I'm very intrigued by it. I have to start team building at some point soon, or not team building, but like draft prep.
All right, so next one. Speaking of drafting, what mon do you always draft as a veil? Like, what's your old reliable?
um, so for the first 4 seasons that I ever did draft league format, I tried never to draft the same things, just to get some unique takes and figure out exactly what my style was. But as I'm playing more, the mon I keep going back to has to be Ditto. Um, it's my friends in the TBL will never leave Ditto on the table past round like 3 because they know I'll take it and I'll use it very well. And I have it in the GBA and I'm loving it. It's just it just forces your opponent to build in a different way than they would. And even if you don't bring it, sometimes they don't have sets that are ideal for your team because they needed to stop you from having the Ditto against them. And so I love the concept of Ditto being able to come in and wall break, stall break, stall itself, if the situation arises for it. Back when Z moves weren't like locked onto certain Pokemon, I've always wanted to bring like a Z Ditto and hope that I get it off with the right set prediction of my opponent. But I've never actually done that. Though that would be a goal of mine someday. It's harder now that all the leagues force you to like pick a couple Pokemon to use the Z moves instead of like any Pokemon can use Z moves. But I would have to go with Ditto, just because it's such a versatile mon in league format.
Yeah, I for one, I never drafted Ditto in a league format, but I really, really want to because it's really, really good for scouting.
Oh, absolutely. It gives you so much information. And then beyond just giving you information, like you bring it in at the right time, and your opponent now has to deal with generally a scarf version of like their strongest Pokemon. You're going to get that revenge kill, and then you can either continue to sweep or trade, like trade for the revenge kill, switch out, trade later, like however you want to play it. And that, I mean, my Ditto, I think right now is it's like 7 kills and 1 death so far this season. It's like, I love Ditto. I've only brought it a few times. It doesn't come to every match, obviously. It has poor matchups against some teams, but like when it comes, it's just like a jackknife. It just shreds a team to pieces.
Yeah, very interesting. Ditto's a mon I really want to try out at some point.
It's worth trying out, but you got to play it right. Don't be too aggressive with your Ditto. Hold it, play it right, and when it comes in, make sure that it's getting those kills. I mean, there's a handful of Pokemon that are like Ditto in good revenge killing fashion, but Ditto, the difference is that Ditto can also function as a sweeper, whereas most revenge killers are pretty solidly just revenge killers.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next one. What was your biggest ever rage moment in your draft league career?
My biggest ever rage moment. So I mean, getting 6-0'd was pretty brutal. I've only been 6-0'd once. It was the second ever game of draft league that I played. And it came down to a 50-50 toss up. I had a Latios and a Tapu Lele left. And he was in there with a Salamence that was at like +5 from Moxie. And do I stay in with my Lele and he clicks Dragon Claw, predicting my Latios switch in, or do I hard switch into Latios as he clicks Earthquake, which was going to be my only way to win the game. And I went with the switch. He predicted that, goes for Dragon Claw, and it was like that was the turn. That would have stopped the 6-0 at least. I don't think I would have won at that point, but at least it wouldn't have been a 6-0. But he made the perfect prediction, and I definitely just like raged for a little while. Was super salty about it. And it's one of those things that like gets in your head the next time you play too. You like don't want to make those risky predictions or anything like that. And like earlier in his sweep, I had a chance to like not switch out with Ferrothorn instead of setting up a Leech Seed, and I didn't. So like, it was a weird situation, and it was like a lot of poor plays and good predictions on his part. So, it was all the respect to him. Like he played really well with his Salamence, but it was upsetting.
Yeah, we have those moments where we just play bad. We just play bad. We try to make hard reads and it just doesn't fall into place.
Yeah, and sometimes you like need to make that read in order to get back into the game, and they're like, "Well, he's going to make that read to get back into the game," and they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
eat it up. And they're like, "Well, thanks, for giving me a free kill, or free setup, or whatever it is."
All right. So the last question: You are guaranteed one Uber's Bond in a draft. What Ubers do you take?
So I've actually never played Ubers. Um, I think guaranteed one Uber's mod in a draft. I would probably go with Lugia. Um, that thing is just such a fun tank. I mean, obviously, multi-scale is a ridiculous ability. Its typing is pretty solid. Roost gives it back to multi-scale pretty reliably. It can run like sub-toxic sets. It can run Aeroblast, high crit with a huge attack, and very accurate. So, I think Lugia would probably be my go-to. It fits my play style, which generally people have started to figure out is like a bulky offensive style. Favorite Mega being like Mega Venusaur. I run a lot of like Milotic stuff. So bulky offense is definitely my go-to, and Lugia definitely would fit that style. As far as the Ubers go, I think that would probably be the best one for it.
Yeah, Lugia is nice, multi-scale as well. I've seen my boy Perfecte Blue drafted that in the BBL, and he's doing pretty well with it so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, I've never played Ubers in like draft format or anything, so I don't have a lot of experience with it, but that just seems like the kind of mon that would be up my alley.
Yeah, absolutely, a nice fat Lugia.
I am that guy, yes. Like I don't play the timer, I don't play stall, but I play mons that like if you play stall, they'll win.
Yeah.
Like you can't outstall me, but I'm not going to stall you intentionally.
All right, so that's all the questions I got. So, any closing comments?
I'm really excited. This is my first season in the IBL. I'm really hoping to make a splash in league format. I want to thank Eric for inviting me, and Brendan and everyone else who's admins of the IBL for running such a successful league for so long. And I'm really excited to get started. I love drafting. I love this game, and I'm excited to be a part of more and more leagues and get myself more involved in the community.
All right, so you heard you. All right, so that's all I have for today. So definitely check out the other coach interviews that will be up on the IBL channel. Subscribe to the channel as well, because yeah, they'll be coming up as the days progress. But until next time, I am Spanic,
I'm GoldoaDragon.
and we will see you guys next time, boys.
Bye.